Hello, everyone. My name is Mel Robertson, and I want to welcome you to Happiness is Your Own Damn Fault. What we're going to be talking about is how to drop the baggage, increase your frequency, and live a bliss-filled life. Now, I've decided to put this summit together because I want you to know that happiness is equally available to you no matter what the circumstances you've endured. And no matter what you've been through, you can choose happiness now. So I wanted to interview people who are truly happy and get them to share with you their secrets on how to let go of the past, stop worrying about the future, and start living your bliss. And today I invited my friend Dr. Susan Shumsky, and I chose her because she lives on blind faith and inner guidance. And if you want to know how to overcome the fear of the unknown, she's the one you want to be listening to. Dr. Susan Shumsky has dedicated her life to helping people take command of their lives in highly effective, powerful, positive ways. She is the best-selling author of 11 books published by Simon & Schuster, Random House, and New Page. A pioneer in the human potential field, she has spent more than 48 years teaching thousands of people meditation, prayer, affirmation, and intuition. Her book titles include Miracle Prayer, Divine Revelation, Exploring Meditation, Exploring Auras, Exploring Chakras, How to Hear the Voice of God, Ascension, Instant Healing, The Power of Auras, The Power of Chakras, and Awaken Your Third Eye. Dr. Susan Shumsky is a highly respected spiritual teacher, award-winning author, and founder of Divine Revelation, a unique field-proven technology for contacting the divine presence, hearing and testing the inner voice, and receiving clear divine guidance. For 22 years, her mentor was Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who was the guru of the Beatles and guru of Deepak Chopra. Dr. Shumsky served on Maharishi's personal staff for 7 years. A sought-after media guest and highly acclaimed professional speaker, Dr. Shumsky has done over 650 speaking engagements and over 700 media appearances since her first book was published, including Women's World, GQ, Cosmopolitan, Los Angeles Times, nationally syndicated TV and radio on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox News, Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, and William Shatner's Weird or What. She is featured in the movie Three Magic Words, and her website is www.drsusan.org. Welcome, Susan.
I'm so glad to be here with you today, Mel.
I'm so happy to have you here with me. Before we jump in, would you mind just taking a minute to share with our audience how you were led to do the work that you do and create Divine Revelation?
Well, it was 1960s. I was a hippie. I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was a flower child. And probably your listeners don't know, but those of us who were flower children, we were really interested and very serious about our spiritual development. We were interested in Eastern philosophy, Eastern wisdom. I was reading the Buddhist scriptures. I was reading The Way of Zen by Alan Watts. I was reading Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and any other spiritual books that I could get my hands on. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, of course, that was like our standard textbook back then. And at that time, as I was reading the books of Alan Watts, he said in his books that you need to find a meditation guide. Well, in 1966 in Berkeley, California, you didn't exactly go to the Yellow Pages and look up meditation guide or anything remotely similar to that. So I asked my roommate, I said, how do I find this meditation guide that I'm looking for? And he said, well, have you ever just tried to meditate on your own? And I said, well, I guess I'll give it a shot. So I lay down on my bed, and I sort of prayed for or asked for a meditation. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't even know that you should meditate sitting up or anything. So I just prayed for this meditation. Immediately, I was propelled into an ecstatic state. I could feel this rush of energy. It felt like a cord of energy rushing from the tips of my toes all the way to the top of my head. In fact, it felt like I was being plugged into an electric socket, and this electricity was going through my body, but in a really blissful way.
Yeah.
And so I had this amazing experience, and I concluded, well, I guess this is meditation. Little did I know that I had just had my first meditation and also my Kundalini awakening all at the same time. So I kept seeking, and eventually a friend brought me to the meditation center, which was Transcendental Meditation. And I saw the picture of the guru, who was Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, this very famous guru of the 20th century. And I immediately sort of fell in love with him in a way. I mean, in a spiritual way. I fell in love with the picture, and I knew immediately that I had to do this, and that I had been seeking it anyway. I'd been really, really very fervently seeking meditation. So I got involved with that for decades, and then eventually left that ashram after 22 years, and I became involved with something called divine revelation, which is what I teach and what I do. I should repeat all that because of this stupid telephone.
Can you hear me? No,
yes.
I heard you. I didn't know if you were done or not.
No, the telephone was ringing, and you didn't hear the telephone ringing in the background?
No.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. Then I won't have to repeat what I said.
Nope, right after divine revelation.
So where did I stop? What did I last say? I said
divine revelation, or you started with divine revelation.
So I can't remember what I said, though. Oh, I said something about I got involved with divine revelation. That's what I teach, and that's what I do, right?
Yes, and that's where we left. Yep, perfect.
That's fine. That's an end to something.
Okay. All right. So tell me more about what divine revelation is.
Divine revelation is a field-proven technique. It actually started in the early 70s, and it's something that helps anyone to be able to open to spirit with a capital S, to listen to the divine voice within, to receive divine guidance, to communicate with divine beings, with your own higher self, and with ascended masters, angels, archangels, and other divine beings, and to have two-way conversations with God, with deities as well, in other words. And it's an incredibly powerful, amazing technology that helps people to realize their spiritual self and identify their spiritual self as who they really are. In other words, who we think we are is not the same as who we really are. And if we can experience directly who we really are, rather than just intellectually, when we experience it directly through deep meditation and through the practice of divine revelation, then we have that realization on a profound and meaningful level of who we really are. And that is really the goal of spiritual seeking, is to realize yourself, to attain self-realization.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can our listeners begin to experience divine revelation, to get that, to be able to hear the inner voice of God?
Well, it's really a very, very simple practice, and the entire premise of divine revelation is one thing, and that is ask and it shall be given unto you. It's simply by asking that you receive, and this is actually true in all areas of life. It's especially true in spiritual life because it works so quickly and instantaneously in the spiritual world. So when you ask for spiritual seeking, spiritual experiences, you do receive them immediately. So it's a matter of just sitting down in a chair, taking a few deep breaths, getting quiet and centered and still and balanced within yourself, taking some more deep breaths, getting even more quiet, taking more deep breaths. The deep breaths really are important because they help you to really get centered and peaceful and in a state where you are receptive to spirit with a capital S. So when you get very quiet and still and centered and in a state of inner peace and deep relaxation, then you do something that most people don't do while they're in that state. And that is that you ask. You ask for something. You can ask for healing. You can ask to connect with a specific divine being. You can ask questions and receive answers. You can ask for inspiration, creative ideas, advice, counsel. So that is the time to ask, and then you do something else that most people don't do. And that is that you do what I call the do nothing program. That means you do nothing, and less than nothing. So after you've asked for that, you take another deep breath and you go even deeper, and then you do the do nothing program. That means you do nothing and you allow that experience or that answer to come to you without effort, without strain, without expectation, without putting effort trying into it. So what you're doing is allowing spirit to give you what you've asked for. And it's incredibly powerful. It really works, and it's totally awesome.
Do you have an example of how it's worked for you? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it has changed my life in so many ways. So what I do, my life consists of being led by spirit. I mean, spirit with a capital S, not spirits with small s's, not plural spirits. What I'm talking about is the divine spirit, the Holy Spirit, the spirit of wholeness within you, the higher self, the true nature of being, God within you. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but that is what leads me on my pathway as much as I can do it. I mean, I'm definitely not perfect at this. And I fall short a lot because it's really difficult to do.
Yes.
I mean, you'd think, oh, well, that must be so easy. No, it's not. Actually.
No, it's terrifying.
It's really easy to get the messages. I just told you how you can do that. And then it's not really that difficult either to distinguish between that true divine voice and other voices in your mind. I have a 10-test system for that, what I call the 10 tests of spiritual discernment to help you to test the messages and make sure that they're true and real. But the difficult part is actually following the guidance that you get, because you're going to be guided to do things that are exceedingly challenging, where you have to step out of your ego box, where you have to do things that you've never done before, that you're like really scared to do. So it's really a very interesting and adventurous and amazing and awesome way to live, and it involves a lot of risk, seemingly. But since you are being guided by spirit, there's really no risk at all, because you're in the hands of the divine. You're in the hands of God. So you are always divinely protected, and all is well at all times. So there was a case, probably the most dramatic experience of mine was how I got my first book, which is called Divine Revelation, published by Simon & Schuster, which is, by the way, unheard of, that a first-time unknown spiritual New Age author who knows nothing about writing and went to art school. I went to art school. I didn't even study writing. Okay, and I got my book published by Simon & Schuster, which is the biggest publisher in the entire world. And my editor at Simon & Schuster said it's the very best-written book she's ever read since she started working for Simon & Schuster. So I was guided by Spirit to write this book. I was given the book, basically. Spirit wrote the book. I was just kind of the vessel for that.
Yep.
And the book wrote itself. And then when I wanted to get it published, I asked Spirit, well, how do I get this book published? And then I got my big divine revelation that came to me, and it said, go to the library and find yourself a literary agent. So that was my, divine revelation that came out of the sky. Go to the library, find yourself a literary agent. This was before the internet, by the way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be going to the library at this point, but back then that's what you did. I went to the library, and I found where you can find out about literary agents and so on, and I looked through the list of agents, and I found this one named Jeff Herman, and that really, somehow I just got a intuitive flash about that particular person. But it did not make a whole lot of sense because Jeff Herman mostly agents business books for Wall Street. So it made no sense. But,
right.
Spirit says, Jeff Herman, okay, Jeff Herman. And he had done one spiritual book. He had done Rabbi Kushner's book, which is called When Bad Things Happen to Good People. But that was, and that was a really famous, best-selling book, but that was really the only spiritual book he had done at that time, by that time. So anyway, I sent my book proposal to Jeff Herman, but I didn't have quite enough faith, Mel, to only send it to Jeff Herman. Even though Spirit told me Jeff Herman was my agent, I sent my book proposal to 30 agents. But the very first one to respond, of course, was Jeff Herman. He responded within 2 days after receiving my proposal. So I went ahead and signed the contract with him, and he tried to shop my book around to various publishers. And he got some rejections, and all of a sudden I got a letter in the mail. Didn't get email back then. I got a letter in the mail from Jeff Herman, and it said, we're so sorry that we've had a staff shortage in our agency, and we can no longer represent you. I was completely devastated. Oh, no, Spirit told me Jeff Herman, and now he's dropping me? Really? And so I was completely upset about that. And I asked Spirit, because that's what I do. That's what I always do. I ask. Mm-hmm. I go into meditation and I ask. So I got this really weird message from Spirit. And sometimes we get really weird messages from Spirit, by the way. But if we know that they're true and that they're real, then it's a good idea to follow them. So I get this message. It says, no, Jeff Herman is still your agent. Don't try to sign with another agent, and don't try to sell the book yourself. This message made no sense. But you know what? I live on blind faith, so I'm just crazy enough to follow it. So I did. I followed the guidance, and I went ahead and sent my little letter to Jeff Herman, and it said, my intuition tells me you'd still be the best agent to represent me. I'm sending this letter to the business book agent.
My intuition.
Yeah, my intuition. So several months go by. Several months. Nothing. I don't hear back from him. All of a sudden I get a letter in the mail from Jeff Herman Literary Agency. And it says, we're so happy that you have so much faith in us, but we still can't represent you. So I was like, oh no. I'm following my guidance and it's not working. So I went back into meditation again. And you know what, Mel? I got the same message again. Jeff Herman is still your agent. Don't try to sign with another agent, and don't try to sell a book yourself. So I'm like, oh no. And so I went ahead and sent Jeff Herman a second letter. And it said, my intuition still says you're the best agent to represent me. And you can imagine what happened after I sent the second letter. Nothing happened. That's what happened. Nothing. And I'm sitting around with my blind faith following guidance, and nothing's happening. Months go by, more months, many months. And all of a sudden I get a phone call from Jeff Herman, and he says, We're very impressed with your perseverance. We've decided to represent you. Come to my office and meet my partner, and we're going to handle your book.
Awesome.
So I went to the office. In downtown Manhattan, and all the business books are stacked up on the walls, the bookshelves, and I'm feeling a little bit out of place and intimidated.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this woman appears, this beautiful woman with long black hair. She's such a beautiful, very filled with light. And I find out that she's working at the agency and that she's a psychic. And she gives me a psychic reading. So I figured, well, I guess this is why I was guided to stay with this agency. It worked out pretty well. When Jeff Herman told me he had sold the book to Simon & Schuster, I nearly went into cardiac arrest.
Right.
I can't believe it. Oh, my God, Simon & Schuster, you're kidding me. So it worked out pretty well.
Amazing. I love that story. I'm so glad you told it. So you've covered, how to listen to divine presence, and we're talking about, what it means to live a bliss-filled life. So I want to ask you, what does living your bliss mean to you, and what does that look like for you?
Well, people probably think that being happy all the time or living your bliss means that you're never going to have any problems or challenges in your life. But actually, we cannot escape the challenges and the problems that are put in front of us in our lives, because that's just the nature of duality. It's the nature of this human existence. Mm-hmm. So it's not like your life is just going to become like floating on a cloud or something.
Right?
Because that's not what this earth plane is about.
Mm-mm.
But what you can experience is the inner strength and fortitude and the experience of the divine presence, so that you are always divinely protected. You're always in a tremendous amount of self-confidence and self-assuredness, because you are on the right track, doing the right thing, following divine guidance, meaning that you're living your true purpose, your true destiny. And that's an extremely fulfilling thing to do. There is nothing more fulfilling than following inner guidance and seeing miracles take place all around your life all the time. Coincidences that are not really coincidental are happening. Things like I just described in that amazing story about getting my book published. That wasn't easy. There was nothing easy about that story. But the truth is that by following the inner guidance with faith and with complete blind faith, even though outer circumstances don't appear to coincide with what your actions are doing, things do turn out well, and your life is, for the most part, smooth and filled with divine light, love, peace, joy, happiness, and fulfillment. And I think the key to all of this, Mel, is meditation. Meditation is the key to everything. It is the panacea of all ills, and I have always believed that ever since I first learned meditation in 1967. That's when I first learned to meditate. And meditation is the way. I'm sure it's not the only way, but it is the way for most people to be able to experience their spiritual self and to experience God within them. Mm-hmm. And there is no greater joy, happiness, or fulfillment than God, because God is the goal of all seeking. There is nothing other than that. That is the goal of all seeking. Now, you may not want to call it God. I don't care what anybody wants to call it. They can call it Goddess. They can call it God. They can call it Jesus. They can call it Hashem. They can call it Krishna. They can call it the universe. They can call it the spirit with a capital S. They can call it divine love. Call it whatever you may, but that is the goal of all seeking. And once you have experienced that, you know that there is nothing further to experience. That's it.
Right,
So
and that's all you want.
yeah, and it's all anybody wants. They just don't know it. They might think that they want sex, food, rock and roll. You know, I mean, I love all those things, by the way, myself. There's nothing wrong with any of it. But those are temporary, ephemeral pleasures, whereas God is the permanent solution to all problems. God is the ultimate. God is it. There's nothing more to seek. There's nothing more to find. When you experience that directly, you know you've experienced it, and it is incredibly powerful. So I think that atheists are really intelligent, and I'll tell you why atheists are really intelligent. It's because they will not believe in something that they have not directly experienced themselves. My goal is to help people experience God directly so that they are not going through some middleman, some pastor of a church or whatever it may be, or even some psychic or some teacher, some other intermediary, that they're actually experiencing the divine presence directly themselves through their own inner connection and contact with that divine presence. And once you've had that experience, it's unlike anything else, because it is an experience of wholeness, of oneness, of perfect peace, of perfect relaxation, of perfect completeness, perfect contentment, of great inner joy and happiness, of feeling security, of never being alone, of divine love, of being washed over with divine love, bathing in the ocean of God's love, of streams of divine light pouring into your energy field, of divine grace and blessings coming into your being. It's incredibly powerful, and there's nothing like it. So it just so happens that that's my favorite activity, to have that experience of the divine presence.
Mine too.
Better than anything else.
It is, and I love that I can be in the midst of fear and be feeling fear and turn my attention to my connection to my source and get into divine presence and feel so at peace and so at ease, and knowing that everything's okay, and that fear totally is dispelled and just taken away. It's the only answer. It's so true. It is the only answer, because nothing in this world is real and lasting. Nothing in this world can alleviate anything for me, but my connection to my source is the only real, true, lasting sustenance. I love that.
That's very true. It is the truth. And it's what all beings on this planet are seeking and eventually will come to. And it might take them several lifetimes to get there, but eventually everyone gets there.
Yes, we all do. So what is the best thing that you love about, like, living on divine faith and living your bliss? What is the best part about it?
I think it's a feeling of assuredness, a feeling of knowing that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that for me, I've had a challenge probably in my life of before having this connection to spirit. I always was wondering, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? And also a lack of confidence, lack of complete, shall we say, at peace with myself kind of thing.
Yeah.
But being in that state of knowing that you are on the right track is incredibly powerful. It's in reference to making really mundane decisions, like what job to take, what path to follow, what relationship to be in, what relationship to get out of, what business partners to work with or not work with, what business decisions to make on a daily basis. I mean, these are really mundane questions, and you can receive the answers to every one of those when you're connected to spirit with a capital S. You don't have to worry about things. You know things are going to work out. You are receiving assuredness from spirit continually. You're getting these messages telling you that everything's okay and it's all working out for the best. And so it's just it gives you a lot of peace of mind and confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it does. Yeah, I love feeling the confidence. So we're just about out of time, so I wanted to take a second. You're going to offer a free gift that everyone can participate in?
Absolutely. Is that an experience you'd like for me to give right now on the air, or is that a link on my website, or what do you want?
It's going to be a link on the website. If you want to just tell everybody about it, that would be great, because it'll be in the email that goes out with this interview for everyone.
Okay, so that would be at www.susangift.com. That's SUSANGIFT.com. Mel, I better check that and make sure it's not plural. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's right. That's it.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. And what is the free gift that you're offering?
Oh, sorry. Now I have to go back to that page. Read it. Hold on. Okay. SusanGift.com. That would be nice if I did tell people. Okay. So on the page SusanGift.com, you're going to receive a free 7-minute guided mini meditation where you can experience deep peace and relaxation and harmony within a few short minutes in a powerful guided mini meditation. A free 30-minute lecture called Divine Revelation, How to Hear the Voice of God. A free 90-minute teleseminar called Healing Psychic Sponge Syndrome.
I love that.
Which helps you to not be a psychic sponge, meaning not allowing the influences and vibrations around you to bring you down to a lower vibrational level. In other words, get drained by people and things and circumstances around you. And you'll learn several healing prayers to help you with that. And another thing you're going to get is a $50 coupon towards any spiritual retreat, or a $100 coupon towards any tour that's listed on my travels website, which is www.divinetravels.com. And then lastly, free access to my weekly Miracle Prayer Circle teleconference. So that takes place every week, and you can get access to that, so you can attend my weekly prayer circle.
Excellent. I love that. You're giving away so much. Thank you for all of that. Before we close, do you have any last words of wisdom you'd like to share with everybody on how to drop the baggage, increase the frequency, and live a bliss-filled life?
Well, I think one key to increasing the frequency, which is really important in that equation, is to call upon divine beings that you feel an affinity towards. So you may say something like, I call upon the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of wholeness and truth, to lift my vibration to the highest level that I can possibly comfortably enjoy, and to fill me with divine light and love, and to bring forth the beautiful white fire of the Holy Spirit, which lifts and fills me and brings me peace. You can say things such as that and call upon divine beings, and that will immediately lift your vibration and take you out of whatever it was that you were embroiled in at that time.
I felt my vibration rise when you were saying it.
It's an invocation, and I recommend just taking a look at my book, Instant Healing, which has 243 of these invocations and prayers in them that are incredibly awesome and powerful. So Instant Healing is a book that I recommend to anyone if you want to lift your vibration immediately and instantly through using some simple prayer formulas and affirmation formulas.
Awesome. Awesome. I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that, happiness is an inside job, and it's equally available to everyone. We're living in a time now where we can choose to drop whatever baggage we've been carrying around. We can drop the old stories. It just starts with a choice. You are powerful beyond measure, and all you need to do is tap into that divine power that created you and follow the guidance you were given. You were born to be happy, experience joy, and live a wide open, spacious life. Thank you so much, Susan, for being here with me. It's been a pleasure.
It's my pleasure and joy. Thank you for inviting me, Mel.